So when someone hires you for a shoot, what do you think is the um, perspective, the style that you bring that might be different from other photographers who do the same thing?
So I definitely shoot natural light. Um, I think it looks a little bit dated at this point to have the studio lights in the images. Like that was the big thing in the 80s and the 90s, is that you would light everything professionally. Um, but it doesn't look natural. And most of the magazines don't prefer that anyway. It also causes a color shift in the rooms if you turn on incandescent lights. Turns everything a little bit orange, you know? So it's harder to tell what color things are supposed to be. It just doesn't look as nice, that's for sure. So I definitely shoot natural light. I think that's important. And I mean, I've been doing it since 2008 now, or a little bit before that. So I come into a scene and I know how to help style a scene. So the job is not just about photographing or editing. It's also about knowing what furniture or what home decor should go where in the scene so that it looks like a full, interesting image, you know? So I feel like I bring that to the table.
Do you think, growing up in New York City when we did, I don't remember anyone really thinking about style and design in that way. Do you think coming into your profession outside of maybe someone who, grew up in a different style of interior gives you a different eye towards what's really interesting in an interior? Like you might be able to notice something coming from, say, who didn't grow up in a house like that, that you see, wow, this is really visually interesting here. This is what I want to capture. This is the perspective that I think will grab people's attention.
Um, it's interesting. My parents, I love interior design, but my parents and my sister, they could kind of care less. I mean, my sister has a nice home and she wants it to look nice and comfortable, but she's not really, she'll ask me for advice. Um, my parents, I remember we moved into this house in Little Neck in Queens, and it had wallpaper everywhere, but not the good kind. It was the 80s kind with the bold flowers and blues and greens on the ceiling to boot. There was a bathroom with like silver reflective foil and then flocked pink flowers all over the ceiling and on the walls. I mean, it was insane. And my parents just lived there like that for forever. They never bothered to change it. It just wasn't. So I didn't grow up thinking about interior design at all. It was really something that came about, I guess, as I traveled a little bit, and I would just pore over these magazines like Elle Decor and, Veranda and, all these magazines that I was studying while I was in school to set up shots. I kind of fell in love with it,